Hi, welcome back to Carrie's Craic here on A Spiritual Life. I'm in my garden, just chilling before the kids come home. And so what's on the topic this week then? What are my weekly rambles this week? So it's a little bit of a follow-on from last week actually, where I spoke about being recommended that I niche in a little bit more with my business, and I said to you guys, do you have to niche? What's your experiences? While at the same time sort of battling authenticity and doing what I want, and my intuition and doing what I want, taking advice but not always going with it if you don't feel like it's right. So that has been a carry on this week too. So yeah, basically I was supposed to go on a podcast, and with this rumblings of, well, what's your niche? What can you offer people? Be specific. It just got me a little bit, lacked my confidence a bit. So I cancelled the podcast, I rescheduled. Well, I haven't rescheduled yet, but I will. Just said it's not the right time. The person I was doing the podcast with was the person who said to niche, so that's okay. And it just got me thinking about how you feel when you have to start over again, or if you have a sense of failure. How do you deal with that? How do you cope with that? Because that's where my head's been this week. Sorry, I'm just watching all these birds in the trees. So that's where my head's been, that sort of failure, sort of starting all over again. And I've thought about it a lot, mindfulness, we sit and think about it. And it's actually not the failure that's been causing me these feelings. It's the time that I've put in it. I've put so much time to get where I was already, even though it wasn't really down the line, but it was a fair way. It took me a lot of time to get there in the little time that I have as a busy mum. And getting to that point and then sort of potentially starting all over again. To a degree, not all of it, but to a degree, it just felt, oh my God, really? I've got to do it all again. I've got to start again. I don't have much time as it is. I wanted it done. It was that impatience that came up. It was that not good enough with my work thing came up again. And all these fears, all these things, all the shadow that you work with. And that was Monday night. And I made the decision on Tuesday about the podcast. And then all day Tuesday, I just felt exhausted. I felt drained. I felt all those things, frustration and all these things. And I just allowed it to be there, firstly. And I kind of distanced myself from people for the day and put myself into a place of, receptivity, basically. If I'm going to start again, I need ideas to come. So I put YouTube on, watched a load of videos on the niche that I'm in, or all the mindfulness stuff, and just to see if I could niche it down and if anything came to me. So I just literally spent the day watching stuff. And it kind of regulated my system again by doing that. I didn't feel it on the day, I felt it the next day. So the next day, because when I say about regulating your system, when we are in the stress system, the sympathetic nervous system, that is your stress system, your fight, flight, freeze. And I would say today, in this day and age, we're probably in that 80-90% of the time. Even when we think we're coming home and we're chilling and we're watching Netflix, we're still getting stimuli. We're still getting information overload. We're still in a stress response, even when we think we're chilling, when we're looking at devices and information overload. So 80%, 90% of the time, probably in this sympathetic nervous system, the fight, flight, freeze. And that's not sustainable. And when we're in that space, all these hormones are released, the cortisol's released, adrenaline's released. It's not sustainable, because they're only supposed to be short-term hormones. And that's when it can get into your system, into your, change your biology, change your state, change the person you are, the personality, everything. It just all comes from that. And how we dysregulate that is to get into the parasympathetic nervous system, which is your rest and digest system. And to do that, the way I did it this week was to take a step back, be open. It was like I surrendered in the end to just these last few days, especially. I've just been in surrender, a state of acceptance, but in a way where I've still got some say in the matter. I can still do something, I can still do this, but I just need to take a bit of a break right now. And so today I've spent all day trying to work on this, and still nothing's coming, and I'm feeling that grasp, that push, and I'm thinking, why? And I'm thinking, because I feel like there's no time, and I don't have time for this. I haven't got time for ideas to come. And that's when we're not in creativity. We're not in flow when we're in that state. So we have to get into that parasympathetic nervous system as often as we can, to come out of the sympathetic nervous system, to come out of fight, flight, freeze. Go in and stay into the rest and digest system a bit more. And I felt a shift since I've done that. Even though I've felt those feelings today, a little bit, not a lot, I've felt a little bit of that frustration, only because it's like a whole day that I don't have a lot. I don't have a whole day, a lot of the time, to do these things. And so by not being very productive, which is again, being in that overdrive mode, because I wasn't very productive, again, it's like that failure all over again. So what I'm saying is, notice how you feel if you have to start something over again, or if you've been told something's not good enough, or you feel failure about something's not worked out the way you want. That's that control again, that expectation, right? That attachment to something. Video on attachment, I think, is this Sunday, so watch out for that. I think taking a step back, noticing what you're feeling, where and why, and responding instead of reacting. So when I notice, another day gone today, another day, it's like that's what it is. It'll come in the right time and it'll come the right way. And I started to turn that belief around, not deliberately. It came where I was turning it around to think, well, actually, I think this might be a blessing in disguise. I think this might mean I do something really good, just people can get on board with it a bit more. So that's my offer to you. That's my question to you. What do you do when you're in a state of starting over a relationship, starting over a new home, starting over a new life, a new location, a new country? Like, starting over again isn't easy, because we're going out of our comfort zone, and we have expectations when we're in the thing before. So when we're told to change, or change comes about, then we feel that, and we don't know how to go into the new. And so what I would say is, take a step back, feel the feels, and respond with kindness. Don't beat yourself up. It's not worth it. It doesn't get you anywhere. And notice that shift in you, because now I'm definitely in the parasympathetic nervous system now, and that rest and digest, that more acceptance, that more not blinkered anymore. I can open up more to the people around me, and I'm not just thinking about that one thing. So have a go at that. That's number one. Number two, Now, I don't know how people are going to take to this. This might be a bit of a controversy, but we'll see. I don't mean it to be. Let's put that out there. That's the disclaimer. Okay. So we went to a festival at the weekend as a family, and there were a number of groups on, bands, that were actually different ages. I'm not going to stereotype and say they were just young. There was definitely one young band and there was an older band. And the young band, the main singer, I noticed they checked like with each other, are you enjoying this, are you getting on? You know how you can get that eye contact and you could just know what they're sort of saying to each other. There was no banter in the audience, just between themselves. And then the singer literally went back to looking at the floor. There was no eye contact with the audience whatsoever. If he did look up, he closed his eyes. Now, I'm all for that. I'm all for closing your eyes, getting in the flow, getting in the feeling. And as someone from the audience, you can feel that. You can feel when they're in their flow state. But I got nothing from this. And it wasn't necessarily my type of music, but I'm open to all genres. I'm open to all performances. But I just felt there was nothing there from the perspective of the audience, the one being entertained. I didn't feel entertained. And I don't judge. That is literally an observation. But I did have a discussion with my husband. I said, what did you think? And he was like, oh, well, it's not my cup of tea. And that's fine. We all have our opinions. But I said, did you feel entertained? And he said, no. I said, he just looked at the floor, didn't he? He's like, yeah. So that was that. Then we went over to another tent and we saw another band. Now, these are probably in the ages of, I don't know, late 30s, 40s, mid 40s, I don't know. Really, there was quite a mix. There was two females, one singer female and singer drummer, and two on the guitar, men. They're probably older than men, more towards 50, I'd say. But it's all irrelevant, age is irrelevant. I'm just giving you the picture here, the observation. So this band, I don't know what genre of music it was. It was very different, and I'm open-minded to that. But again, the singer was looking up at the back of the room and looking up. No eye contact whatsoever. Even to the point where in the instrumental, there was a long instrumental of one bit of one song, she turned her back on us and danced to the drummer. And I just found it very peculiar. She did say about something, obviously it wasn't about that because that was my thoughts, but she did say, this is what you get when you have a band of 4 introverts. And I thought about that and I was like, okay, so you're classing yourself as an introvert, and good for you for getting up on stage if you are an introvert, because not many would do that. So I applauded her for that. But still, it made me question, as an entertaining, as a form of entertainment, I didn't feel entertained. And I think it's because there's no connection. And I'm all for connection. So, and again, that's just me. And I just wonder how other introverts would have found that. Would they have related better? I mean, I wouldn't say I'm necessarily an extrovert, but, would they have felt differently to me because they can relate more to that? But again, I asked my husband and he agreed. He said, yeah, I haven't really enjoyed it. I haven't felt entertained. And it just got me thinking, and I don't know if it's the world we're living in. I don't necessarily want to blame it, but generational things. I mean, have you felt it? I mean, I have. Have you felt it when you go into any sort of customer service now? There's lack of customer service when dealing with younger generation. And I don't like saying that. I don't like stereotyping something. But it is what I've found, it is an observation. They don't look in your eyes anymore. Waitressing, supermarkets. I've literally had an interaction with these people, and I've turned to my husband to think, what just happened? And I'm asking the question, and please post in comments on what you feel and what you're finding in this, because I'm not saying, well, I'm not giving any straight answer. I'm just giving you an observation here. I'm not putting my ball in any court. But are you finding connection is going? Are you finding, is this the way we're going to have entertainment now? Is this the change? Is this what we want? Or do we need to bring something back? Do we need to bring that connection back? Do we need to bring customer service back in the way that you interact with people? Are the younger generation not being taught this? Are devices the cause? People are just doing this. They're online a lot more. They're not actually interacting one-to-one anymore. Is that the reason? What do you think? But it's something that definitely pondered over after I came back from that festival. I personally think it would be a bit of a sorry world if that's how we end up, where we're not even having eye contact, let alone heart contact, real connection, real feelings. And I guess this is why I'm so passionate about mindfulness, about spirituality, about connection, about oneness. How can you be one with somebody if you, well, for one, don't even have eye contact, let alone anything else, let alone connect here? And it just got me thinking, and I thought it was quite a good topic to bring up here. Now hit me with the comments. It's going to go on fire. Right, so I'm going to leave you there. Much love. I'm holding my phone so I can't do it. Bye for now.